Hello, I'm finally back from the beach and I'm ready to tackle another large project. The project is going to be making another wrap skirt. This one though is going to be, let's see, what's the word? Slightly flared. This is more fitted. Whenever you put this on, this is a fitted wrap skirt, and I want to make one that has increases. So, you know, it's more flowy. I don't know. It's more like a circle skirt than just like a pencil skirt, basically. But, you know, not a full circle. I don't want it to be that many increases. That would take forever. I remember making this. I was getting so bored making it because the rows would just take me so long. And now I'm going to add increases, but I think the end result will be absolutely worth it. This actually was inspired by Shinda DIY's, let's see, cardigan. Let me make sure I got the right side. Okay, there we go. I really liked how she did these stitches and then the scallops on it. I really like that finishing touch. So I made a skirt in the same stitch pattern, and then I added the scallops to the edge. And I don't really like how these straps are. They just feel kind of funny. So I think what I might do is make the skirt piece and then have, instead of having it connected, you know, make it to where you can like weave it in probably around these chain one spaces and then just cinch it in that way. Yeah, because I just really don't like how this works. Yeah. Anyways, it just makes it looks fine, but I feel like just trying to put it on feels just like a little bit weird. So, you know, I also want to make another one of these and just like adjust it slightly, because under the armpit area, I should have added more chains, or I should have done a foundation stitch instead of chains, because it's just a teensy bit too tight and I don't really wear this often because of that. It also tends to like ride up, I say ride up, but like it goes up compared, and I keep having to tug it down to have it where I want it to be. So I wonder if I add like maybe a couple more rows somewhere, if that would help that. And let me quickly just show you the yarn that I'm going to be using for this. Be right back. Woo. Okay, so it is Alize Diva Batik design. I don't really know what brand makes this. Diva Batik. Oh, I'm so stupid. It's the Alize brand. Oh my word. We're going to just like cut that, restart. Okay, so this is, I'm going to be using the Alize Diva yarn. Yeah. Anyways, so this is color 4572, and it's 100% microfiber acrylic. So it gives this, it's got a lot of drape to it, but also, I don't really know how to, it's very stretchy, you know. I don't know. It's just a nice fabric for like flowier items. It's got drape weight to it. But anyways, I will be using this. I believe for the original project, I used a 3.5 millimeter hook, and the yarn is a 1 weight, I believe. It's either a 1 or a 2. This calls for, it says 1 to 3 millimeter crochet hook. So I'm just gonna say it calls for a 3 millimeter, you know, but I use 3.5. Probably gonna use the same, so it's gonna take forever. Yay. Oh yeah, before I go and get started on making the skirt and the cardigan, I did want to show y'all kind of what I made on the trip, because I felt kind of, at least kind of productive, you know. Be right back. Okay, so I still need to weave in the ends, and I have hair on this, but I made another one of those shrugs this time. Ooh, good grief, how many hairs are on this thing? Okay, this time it's in navy blue, because I was gone. I didn't block this one either. Also, I was pretty sure in my video that I said I was using a 5.5 millimeter hook, I'm gonna have to go and double check. And so that's what I used for this. But now I'm thinking I must have used a 5mm because this is way too loose. Like the other one had 6 flower squares to go across. This one only needed 5. Here is that shrug from the front. I did decide not to add single crochets on the sleeve area because I didn't feel like adding 2 extra ends to weave in, or yeah, because I could crochet over one of them. I didn't feel like adding extra ends to weave in by doing that, and I think they look fine. So, and this one I followed her updated tutorial. So I was able to make all of these squares, well, all the strips and connecting them and everything in one continuous thing. I didn't cut my yarn. I followed the second version she had for attaching them, where you're basically from where you end, you're making a chain of 21 and then continuing the pattern like normal. So that was nice. I didn't have to worry about extra ends. I only had to weave in, well, I haven't done it yet. I will only have to weave in 2 ends. So that's nice. Yeah, anyways, I finished this in like 1 day almost there. I did kind of stop, but anyways, didn't block it. Yeah, it's fine. We're not going to talk about that. At least I did the flower pattern right this time. Right, and here's the second thing I made, and I will be making a tutorial for this. It's crochet sleeves, but it's actually all in one complete piece. So I only have 2 ends to weave in, which is amazing. As if you couldn't tell by now, I don't very much care to weave in ends. I will do it, but if I can design a pattern that doesn't have me weave in as many ends, I'm going for it, because I find it annoying. I'd rather just crochet. So anyways, here's the sleeves. Here's the back. It's very comfy, and I use this, I forgot, oops. I use this Simply Flawless yarn from Hobby Lobby. It's 100% acrylic, which is another reason why this is a very much mesh stitch, so I can wear it and hopefully not just sweat to death. I'm pretty sure, oh right, I used a 7mm hook with this, so this is nice and oversized and everything. And then, let's see, I was sitting on it. For this, the Sporty Luna shrug, I used 5.5mm hook, and then I used a Kobu yarn, which is a 3-weight. I think Simply Flawless is a 3-weight as well. Hold on, I have some more back there. Let me go check that. It is indeed a 3-weight, and I plan on making another one of these for the tutorial, but this time it's going to be the full sleeve. So I probably won't be wearing those till the weather turns cooler, but I will have them. And I really, really like this because it's nice. It's an oversized sleeve made in one piece. Also, I spent like a good couple hours detangling because I wrapped this wrong before. Whenever I had started making a project with this and decided I didn't want to continue, so I unraveled it and I wrapped it around the remaining skein in a way, it was just so bad. I'm like, how could I do this? I even, after I did it, like I was like, oh, it's probably gonna tangle, but I don't want to deal with it now. So I got to deal with it on the beach trip. That was fun, just like trying to make this. And I made as much as I could before I like hit this. It was a huge tangle. It took a while. Anyways, all that talking and rambling. Now I'm actually going to get started on my little crochet outfit. Cardigan, skirt, let's go. Starting out strong with lots of yarn barb and a 3.5mm hook. You know what, scratch that. I'm gonna be using a 4mm hook and following the same pretty much chains and whatnot that she does, and just hope that that fits right. Or obviously I will be kind of like putting it up to measure, but I want this to go by faster, and yeah, if I could do less counting myself, that would actually be nice. Okay, so I just went looking all around trying to find the notebook that I know I put some of my crochet project ideas and stuff in. Couldn't find it, so we're just going to be using this notepad, which works because I have a notebook. Well, when I say notebook, the previous time I meant like a pre-bound notebook. This one's like, gotta hold it carefully, otherwise the patterns are gonna fall out. This one just holds a bunch of patterns that I printed out and everything. So I think it works better to have a loose piece of paper and then I could just file it in here. Now I'm going to really get started because now I have something to write on. And just know, anytime you're making a pattern, you should always take notes. Do I? No, I don't. But I should, and I know that. I'm gonna do it this time, so yay. And because I'm taking notes, we're going back to the 3.5 because I already had to add 2 stitches to get it to 1.5 inches. So maybe that's why my other one didn't turn out, you know, it turned out a little bit small. I was going for numbers, hoping that it would work, and yeah. Anyways, now I'm going to really get started. Bye. So I started this morning at 10:45, and after lunch break and everything, it's now 2:10, and I finished the first panel. And yeah, very happy about that. I've made adjustments. It should fit a lot better than the first one I made. Because I mean, I was just looking at this. I was like, how did I make it work? Why did I do what I did? I don't know. I don't know. It almost looks, it's like a little bit bigger than the previous one, but I think this one's just stretched out from me like pulling on it while wearing it. So this isn't what it actually looked like. Oh, good grief, if it'll just stay straight. This isn't what it actually looked like whenever I was actively crocheting it. But anyways, so first one's done. I'm going to get started on the second panel. The only problem with this pattern is if you follow it the way that she tells you to, you're making the panels both the exact same. And since, you know, whenever you line them up to sew them, and this is what happened with the other one was facing the direction that I consider prettier, and then the other one had to face the other direction, which I didn't consider as pretty because you had to have this part going towards the middle. So I'm thinking for this one, whenever I go and make stitches, I'm basically just going to kind of reverse where I do increases. So I will be doing, instead of increasing to this side, I will do it on this side, and then the shoulder, well, not shoulder, why did I say shoulder? And then the underarm bit's gonna be on this side, so that the pretty side, I can keep it facing out. And we hope that works. So, yep, gonna just cut the yarn off for this. I'm finally hit the orange and yellow colors. So blue's coming out now. So basically my other panel's gonna be mostly blue and just be completely different colors, almost in the first. So, you know, I decided I thought it'd just be kind of fun to have all the different colors. And as you can see from the original one as well, I did, actually no, wait, with the original one, it looks like I tried to match it up. Yeah, so it was roughly the same colors. Well, guess who's not doing that this time? Me. So, yeah, gonna cut this off, smack myself in the face apparently, and get started on that second panel. Okay, so my plan is working out really well. So far, I just kind of started doing the increases. But yeah, this is the way that it needs to be facing. So anyways, I forgot to mention earlier, but I'm using stacked single crochet. So just 2 single crochets, one put on top of the other. If you search it, you'll find that, to give it a cleaner edge. Hopefully I won't regret that whenever I do the edging and I can find myself some very nice loops to put the shelf stitches and whatnot into. But anyways, this is what it's looking like. I'm going to be making another 3 rows, and then I will be extending for the underarm area. And so what I did for the first one was I did, instead of a chain, because I wanted it to be like a stretchier thing, I did foundation single crochet, then a stacked single crochet, and double crochets all the way down. This one, since it's coming from the opposite side and I'm, you know, reversing it so I can have the pretty side, what I consider the pretty side, facing out, it will be on one of the return rows, in which case I will be doing, let's see, foundation double crochet that way. So yep, this is working out really well. I'm so glad I did this time because yay, it looks like a little boot. Okay, so I did just want to show you how I make the decreases for the other panel. So I've done my chain 1, so I'm going to skip 1, then I'm going to do a partial double crochet. So I'm going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to yarn over, skip this next one to keep it in pattern, and then I'm going to go into that very last stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. There should be a little gap there, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and there's that decrease for the mesh row. And then for the double crochet row, I just make a slightly taller chain 1, then I turn my work and I do a double crochet 3 together. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into that chain space, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into that next double crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 4 loops on your hook, and then you're just going to yarn over, pull through all 4 of those loops, and then just continue working like normal. Oh my goodness, why is there not there's no chain in between? Yeah, I must have been distracted. I am going to go back and fix that, but just for the sake of showing you, you would just like double crochet, chain 1 space, double crochet on the double crochets. Well, you get the idea, just keep in pattern. I'm gonna go fix my mistake. So I finally finished the second panel, only for the stitch counts to not match up. This one had 25 stitches and this one has 27. So I've just spent like the past 10 minutes counting various rows, like how many stitches are in there. And a lot of times I keep forgetting what I counted in one as I'm counting the other one. I'm like, oh, great. Anyways, I finally found it. It's right here. So this one actually, this one's correct, the second one. The first one is incorrect because right here, I was supposed to do the decrease over this stitch, this one, and this. And as you can see, I did not. So I'm just going to undo this little chain 2 knot I made, go back a couple rows, and fix the mistake. Then, you know, I only have to go back here. Oh, thank goodness. You know how much counting I had to do to get this figured out? My poor brain. I just kept forgetting I would count for this one, go find the same row in the other, count, and then like halfway through forget and be like, what was that number again? Anyways, got that figured out now. Yeah, going to finish that up, and then I will be able to start the back panel. And it is 5:17 right now, so yeah, I'm doing good. 2 panels in one day. I'll definitely be starting the back one, and hopefully make decent progress on that. So same day, just in the evening, I got started on my back panel, and I followed her suggestion on how to make it, you know, adjust for your size to where you just kind of like exclude for the top half anyways. You would exclude those stitches you made for the underarm area and just kind of count all the stitches you have on one panel where you have the most stitches, subtract that amount, and then just, you know, double it, and you'll get what is supposed to be like the shoulder to shoulder kind of measurement right before that where you increase it. Anyways, I did that. I ended up with 86 stitches, and then I added one because whenever she does her chain 4 after that, it adds 1 stitch, and I just added 1 extra stitch to the end because I'm doing stacked 0 crochet. But anyways, this is way too big. It's supposed to be here. So I think what I'm gonna do is just kind of like hold it up, count how many stitches are within this amount, and just redo it. And as you can see, I did like more than one row. I was hoping maybe the first row was just looser because I made a larger chain. I made my chains bigger so that my project would stretch. It wouldn't be like constricted. But no, the other ones are all the same width. So yeah. This would be great if I wanted an oversized one, but anyways, I will show a clip real quick of what it looks like. I might work a bit on it tonight. I don't know. And since I'm undoing it, I'm actually going to start a new skein of yarn and save this for the sleeves and the edging, because this one's already like, I want to say about halfway, maybe a little over halfway used from the front panels. So yeah, I'm going to start fresh. That way I don't have to join new yarn in the middle of it and have more ends to weave in. So yeah, anyways, just gonna do that. New skein acquired. I actually just want to quickly see if I can pull out like as little yarn barf as possible. Oh no, I can feel it. I can feel it. Oh no, it's clogged. What have I done? Oh dear. Hold on. Well, you know, I hoped, but you know. Yay. Hopefully this gets detangled quickly. Okay, so I held it up and counted, and the stitches came out to about 62, and I think I'm going to just make it 63. I'd rather have it just a teensy bit larger than smaller. So I have made a good bit of progress on the back panel. I'm past the halfway point, and I was just kind of holding it up. So yeah, I just kind of put stitch markers in and attach the front panels that way, just because I want to quickly try it on and see how the front is fitting with this. Yeah. Okay, this works. This works. Okay. Yes, there's like this weird stripe here where it had like a little bit of blue, and then there was a factory knot and it went straight back to pink. So I was like, it's fine. I'm just gonna leave that knot in. I did pull on it to make sure that it was actually pretty secure. Otherwise I would have just cut and redone it, but no, it felt fine. So the reason why I was just trying this on was because I held it up and kind of matched the shoulder pieces together, and then hold on, let me just lay it down and then I'll show you it that way, because it'll be a lot easier to explain. Okay, so I was just wanting to test it to make sure the front still fit right, because whenever you line it up like this, these overlap, and technically they're supposed to meet in the middle and maybe even have a little bit of space in between and not overlap. So that's why I was trying on, just to make sure it all fit right. So yeah, very glad I redid the back thing. And yeah, I'm getting close to finishing it. So I should be able to finish the whole back panel tonight. I don't know if I'll be able to assemble anything, but I am leaving like long tails to sew up stuff, so maybe I will. Anyways, I have to go to work, so yeah, this is going to be, I'm just going to leave it as is for now, and maybe I'll work on it later tonight. Okay, so I finished the back panel, and then I sewed the shoulder top parts, and then I sewed up the sides. Yes, you can kind of see a little bit of the other color, but it actually looks a whole lot better than the previous one I did, and I just feel like my sewing stitches are way neater this time. So I'm just gonna quickly try this on just to kind of see how it fits right now. So it actually is a little bit lower than I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be up here, but that's okay. That's fine. It'll just be like a cute little vest kind of a thing. Yep. So this is what it's looking like. Yeah. Don't really have much to say other than I'm glad I got it all sewed up. Spent like a good couple hours on that. At least 1 full hour. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it is a little bit disappointing that it's lower than I than I meant it to be. But, you know, it's fine. I can always make note of that, and then if I make it again, you know, I did add like quite a few extra rows here thinking that I would need it, but apparently not. Anyways, whenever I get the chance, I don't know if that's going to be later today or what, but adding the shells and then the straps. Actually, I think you do that. Oh, and the sleeves. That was it. So, yep, I'm just gonna take a bit of a break. So basically, if I were to, like, if doing the shells around and everything doesn't kind of like cinch it up at all, then if I wanted it to be a little bit higher, I would just need to make sure to start my increases sooner over here. And of course, still make sure I just keep that straight until it's actually into my armpit. So really this length before going into the armpits is perfect. It's just I wish I started the increases on this side sooner. So I will be keeping that in mind because I'll probably make this again just in a solid color because I do really like the pattern. It's actually just like the colors look really cute. It's a little bit, you know, all over the place, but I like it. So I'm currently working on the shells on the bottom, and I did just want to kind of show that, well, just for the shells period, she's doing them like one shell for every 2 rows. And I found that my shells were just like too close together and it looked a bit smushed and not nice and spread out like hers. So I'm doing like every 2.5, 3-ish rows kind of a gap thing. I think it's about 3-ish rows. Anyways, I'm just kind of like eyeballing it. Whenever it comes to the very top, she has you skipping at 2 stitches doing the shell, skip 2 stitches, slip stitch, etc. So kind of for the sides, I'm just doing a similar thing to where I do a shell, skip roughly where 2 stitches could be, and then put, you know, either slip stitch in the next one and then like skip and do the shell, you know, just kind of like skipping where 2 stitches could be. Because like each of these rows, you would be putting like 2 single crochets on the side of it if you were making an edging. So, you know, if I had one at the end of this mesh row and I put the shell stitch in, which I did here, I would skip the loops on the side of this row and then put a slip stitch in the next one and just kind of continue on. So that's what I'm trying to do. I haven't followed it perfectly. I'm just really eyeballing it. And then over here, I wanted to make sure that my shells landed inside of the double crochets. Whenever I did the slip stitch here, it ended at the very end of the panel. So I just slip stitched up one more, and then instead of skipping 2, which would have put it in the chain space, I just skipped 1 and then I did my shell stitch just to make sure that they all landed in a double crochet. Because when I did try doing it in a chain, and I just thought it looked a little sloppy and it didn't look quite the same as on the sides. So that's just me being picky. You do not have to do that. Anyways, I'm just kind of wrapping up these panels and then I'm going to do the sleeves. Here I have the original, this is the first sleeve I've made, and it's made following her instructions pretty well. I did do more increases and whatnot along the thing. I just kind of continued doing increases on the solid rows for a while longer, and this is just kind of what it looks like. And then, but I lift my arm and it creates like this weird little baggy thing, and I do not like that. I mean, it looks fine once if I pull it down and I make sure it's flat, it looks good, but the moment I lift my arm, it also feels like a little bit movement restricted right now, but as you can see, it's got that bump. So for the second sleeve, I thought I would just do way more increases than she has in there. So I did that, and this has kind of been the result. So definitely the top, as of right now, does not poke up, and I don't think it will either. So right now my thing is I may have done too many increases, but anyways, as you can see, I just kind of, I stopped doing increases a couple rows ago, but anyways, this is just kind of what it looks like. And you know, if I raise my arm, it doesn't like have this weird little thing going on with the shoulder. And I remember this is a problem I had with the other one where just like this little bit right here just pokes up and it looks kind of weird. Unless you have your arms like down straight and everything. But I want to be able to move and still look nice while doing it. Also, I think I've forgiven this, well, I've forgiven myself for making this a little bit too long. Like, it doesn't look super bad. Like, I wanted this to be up more like here. This would have been what I really wanted, but I am okay with it being a little bit further down. It still looks pretty. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of continue. I am worried that there's too many increases, but I'm just gonna keep going until I have about how many rows I would need anyways, and then I'll make my decision, because honestly it's a small sleeve. Well, it will take time. It's not going to take forever. It's not going to be like making the back panel or something. It should be fairly quick. So gonna work on that some. So I've made a little bit of progress in the skirt, and I'm trying to just figure out how I want to be doing these increases. I think I have too many. I think I have them too close together. So I am going to be frogging this, and it's fine because this is a process. But I also made my initial chain too long. So what I should have done when I made my chain was stretch it, especially because I knew I was going to be making increases, but I didn't stretch it. I just kind of held it up loosely. So it's too big. I want my skirt to be a high-waisted thing. And yeah, anyway, so this is just kind of what it looks like right now. So if I started up here, roughly, I can wrap it around. There we go. It just overlaps way too much. So definitely don't want that. I want it to be more like, let's see, I could just about here, like about this much overlap. So this is all extra right here. And with all the like way too many increases in the beginning, because it only needs to be like a gradual increase right here, and then I can increase more for the hip area. I'm worried about running out of yarn because, you know, this is all I've gotten for that. And this is like not quite halfway gone, but you know, it's definitely eating up a lot of yarn. So hopefully by making those changes, I can make the yarn last. Granted, I do have some white, so if it does run out, I could just use that and continue on in white, or even change up the stitch and whatnot and make it kind of like, you know, it would be pretty. So I have a plan if I run out of yarn. Anyways, I just want to kind of give you that update. I haven't worked on the sleeve anymore today. I think, yeah, I worked on it last night and haven't worked on it today at all. So definitely for the sleeve, though, I found that I have too many increases up here, so I need to reduce that to kind of follow the curvature of my shoulder a little bit better. And then I want to make sure it's like a shorter sleeve, so whenever I raise my arm, it doesn't bunch up at all, or very minimal amount, because right now it's not really bunching. But also, like, if I continue making the sleeve longer, I'm worried that slightly limiting my mobility and then raising my arm, it will do that. Anyways, I'm gonna go frog this and work on it some more. It has been over a week since I last updated you on anything, and this is my progress on the skirt. I had a hard time figuring out increases, but I finally figured that 10 increases was a good amount for me over the whole skirt. And then to keep it from making a little pointy edge, I would just alternate. So let's say, like, here's my flat panel. So if I was increasing here and here, after a few rows, if it started looking kind of pointy, I would alternate and start doing it here and here in between the other increases. Now, the first time I did this, I messed up, because if you do that immediately, one side is going to have, basically you're going to have an extra increase. And for the stitch count, it needs to be an even number. So I was doing 10, then my first alternating row, I ended up with 11. And I didn't realize it till I went back to do the mesh, like double crochet, chain one row. And I was like, oh, well, I just did 2 double crochets at the end, just to, even it back out kind of. So yeah, I learned my lesson. So after that, I picked one side where I wanted the 10th increase to go instead of having one on the very end of both. But anyways, it is coming along really nicely. I finished doing increases. I think it's flowy enough for me. So I stopped and I've been doing a few rows just plain in the pattern. I do have a problem with how the colors pooled. I'm just a little bit annoyed. Like, this is all the lighter colors. The middle's pretty fine, but then this side's like all the darker colors kind of pooled together. So finally I got, you know, a new skein, and as you can see on the very bottom, that's just like a lot of light ones. So maybe if I just like reverse it at this point, I'm good. So okay, so this is what it looks like. I do think it might need a little bit more increases, but I think it'll be fine. It didn't quite overlap as much as I originally wanted. Well, no, if it's up here, it does. Yeah, okay, never mind. Anyways, so that is doing great. I'm just reaching the point where I'm getting tired of doing the same thing over and over and over again without a lot of progress, because it takes a while, as you can imagine, to go across the entire row, and then, you know, that's only just like this much progress showing. So yeah, I'm just kind of reaching a little plateau in my interest in it, but it's fine. I will finish it. I definitely will. And I finally figured out for the sleeves. So here's what it's looking like. This is what I settled on for the sleeves. And when I raise my arms, it does bunch up just a little bit, but as soon as I put them down, it flattens back out. It doesn't stay sticking up. The back of it has like a million strings around it. Oh, good grief. I still have both sleeves. The yarn is still attached because I haven't done the shell border. I was trying to figure out lengthwise, and I think I like the length where it is right now. The only thing I'm worried about is this one. I don't think I'll have enough yarn. So I'm going to, unfortunately, have to attach another thing. But once I do the shell border on both sleeves, then I'm good. I'm done with the cardigan. Like, all I have to do is weave in my ends, which there are a ton of, because I didn't weave in quite a few of them because I wasn't sure if I needed to undo the cardigan at any point and redo things, so I didn't weave in all of them. But yeah, I can do that now. So just look at all these strings hanging from it. Oh, and they're starting to tangle. I really need to finish that up.